Hey everyone! Welcome to our video about choosing the right city for you in China. We get a lot of questions about what's the difference between certain cities when you're choosing a job. So depending on where you end up going, there's going to be a different lifestyle that comes along with it. So hopefully after watching this video, you're going to have a better idea of what it is you're getting yourself into, depending on which city you choose. So the most common way that people label different cities or different levels of cities is by giving them tiers. And labeling a city with a tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3, it's not a specific set of rules that they need to adhere to actually be that number. So you're going to get slightly different numbers depending on your source possibly, but it is a good reference for knowing generally what a city is going to be like. Alright, so with the tier 1 cities, we've got places that you've probably heard of the most. Places like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and one thing about these cities is they're going to have much larger populations than a lot of the other tiers. So for example, a city like Beijing has about 21.7 million people. Shanghai has about 24.2 million. So you're going to have a lot of a very crowded environment a lot of times in these city centers. Also, they have a lot of foreign enterprise. You're going to feel like it's much more of an international community kind of hub. The average income in these cities is going to be a lot higher, and also the cost of living is going to be a lot higher, so it kind of balances itself out. It also has a very large middle class compared to other tiers, and a lot more entertainment options. The tier 2 cities are places like Hangzhou or Suzhou. These are going to be significantly less population than the tier 1 cities. Just to give you an example of the population difference between a tier 1 and a tier 2 city, a place like Hangzhou has about 9.5 million people, which, if you can remember from what we said before, Shanghai is more than twice as many. So you're definitely going to notice a difference in the level of crowds in the city centers in a tier 2 city. It's definitely not got as much of an international or modern feel. You're going to notice a drop in the amount of entertainment options. One good thing about a tier 2 city actually is that you can often find jobs that pay close to maybe what you would be making in a tier 1 city, but the cost of living is significantly lower in these cities, especially for things like paying rent for your apartment and big expenses like this. So that's something to keep in mind if the extravagant lifestyle isn't necessarily something that's important to you. Alright, moving on to the tier 3 and tier 4 cities. So these are going to be places like Sanya or Huangshan. Those are two of the more well-known ones. But to be honest, most of these cities are ones that you've probably never heard of, and that even a lot of Chinese people maybe haven't heard of. So again, going down in tier, you're going to be going down in cost of living, you're going to be going down in income. But a lot of these cities are going to have a more authentic kind of Chinese feel to them. So if you're looking for a more authentic Chinese experience, these cities could probably be a really good fit for you, because there's not going to be a lot of foreign community probably in these cities. So if you're up for the challenge, these can be really interesting cities to live in too. If you do decide to choose one of these lower tiered cities, it's important to keep in mind that you need to do your research on them. When you're going through the application process and having an interview with somebody for a job, make sure you're asking them specific questions about that city, because you can get anything from really beautiful countryside, beachside kind of cities and villages to places that are a lot more industrial. So yeah, it's really important to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, because there is all kinds of variety. Alright, I hope this information was helpful for you. If you have any follow-up questions on anything we've been talking about, or even about anything else about living in China, please reach out to us on Facebook, ask us some questions in the comments below. And also, remember you can always register on our website at www.teachfuture.com. See you later.